Welcome everyone to this two-day boot camp for AI and ML. Uh, so let's just wait for 2 to 3 minutes so that those who have registered can join, and after that we can start. Meanwhile, if you know any of your friends who have interest in this, they may join too before we start. You can just ping them maybe. I hope my screen is visible to all of you. Can anyone please confirm?
Yes, it is.
Okay, just give me a minute.
Yes.
Okay, so I'll just let you go through what will be the flow of this boot. So, so let me tell you. Initially, this will be, as we have told you, this will be a two-day boot camp. And on the first day, that is today, we'll be discussing about the basics about Python, that's the programming language. And today we'll be learning the basics of Python, and also, and after we are done with this, we will be letting you go through uh, the basics of AML, what it is and why it is necessary, how do we deal with things, and the basic terminologies. All of this. Tomorrow, we will be having Naved with us, who is an intern at AI firm, and he will be letting us go through a live project in AI, ML, sorry, which will be basically a classification of the uh, passengers of the Titanic cruise ship. So basically, we will be predicting. We will be first training a data set that will help us to predict that whether a member survived or not after Titanic crashed. So I hope I'm able to make my point clear. Just in case if any one of you have any doubts, please let me know.
Feel free to use the chat, guys, as you deem fit. Ask your doubts there, queries, or just your reactions.
If you're fine, you can simply react to like the reactions that I get there in this. Okay. Okay, great. So I assume that all of you have understood what I said. So okay, so as I said that today we'll be starting with Python. So this will be the flow. Firstly, uh, I'll as we were told that it will be a hands-on code. So I just would like you to go to just Google Colab. If you just type it in the search box, this link will appear. If you just open this, okay. If you open this, you can just go to Google Drive and create a new notebook out for you. Okay, once you do this, this is what you will be getting as out having the screen. So what we did, we just typed Google, clicked on the first link that we got, and after that, just open the first thing, and we made a new notebook out of it. So I hope everyone would have done till here. So if you are with me, so okay, so now we'll start with the basics of Python. Most of you must have done this if you have taken CS as your optional paper in your 12th board. Statements. So as you can see, so I'll just let you know how to use this Google Colab thing. Okay, so this is very much like Jupyter. If any one of you have used Jupyter before, just give me a minute. Is there any uh, network issue or something over? Hello?
It's all good except your screen is frozen.
Oh, okay. Okay, what are you seeing right now? Like, is my uh, notebook visible? Like a blank notebook?
Yes, a blank notebook is visible.
Okay, that is what I'm sharing right now. So, okay. So, okay. So I was just telling you, meanwhile, in the between, if I get stuck, please remind me. I'll fix my network. I'll try to fix my network. So I'll let you go through this Google Colab. So it is very much like Jupyter Notebook, if any one of you have used it before. So what we do, these are blocks. In these blocks, so there are two kinds of block. One is for the code, one is for text. The default that you guys get is for code. In this, you can write any basically Python code. So let's say I write print hello everyone, right? And to execute this command, so basically what you can do, you can run the command here line wise, right? So let's say I written this, now I need to execute this, and now I need to run this. So I'll press control on my windows and enter, right? So when you press control and enter, this starts buffering or something like that, and after that its output will be displayed. So just give it a second, and now you can see this is your output. Apart from that, you can start your next block with a code, and if you let's say I want to print, so welcome to the bootcamp, right? So if you don't getting in here, you can simply click on this, right? If you click on this, it will run too. So I hope this is clear for everyone.
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay, in the next so once you're done with it, we will now go to learning the basics of Python. So as you have seen that to print anything, so it is very much like an English language. So if you have to print anything, you don't need to include any like header files or something like that, like you do in C or C++. You just have to, for print, you just have to write like this, print anything, and it will get executed, right? So, okay. So after we are done with this, we'll start with arithmetic operators, how to use them in Python. Right? So, okay. So we will start with, so as you know, in Python, you can comment by using this hash. So basically you can declare any variable without telling its type. So if I say a is equal to 2, then automatically a is assigned an integer value, that is 2, right? If I type b is equal to 3, then automatically b is assigned an integer value, that is 3. So automatically what is getting? B is an integer. So let's say if I assign c is equal to Ram, right? So automatically what will do? She will become a string. Okay. So in this we'll just be dealing with arithmetic operators. So let's say I've declared a and b. Now I want to add them, right? So I can write simply c is equal to a plus b, and print c. So since we are using a variable here, we'll not encode it in double inverted commas. We'll simply type c, as we are just putting a variable here. And now if we print it, so to execute this, what you have to do? Control plus enter, or to press on this. So if you print c, it is showing 5, right? So 2 plus 3 is equal to 5. Similarly, if we go to the next one, so in between, if you have any doubt, you can simply ask me. Okay, so let's go to the next thing. So next, let's say if I have to declare a is equal to 2 and b is equal to, let's say Ram is a string, right? So what if I add both of them? Let's see what happens. Print a plus b. It will show an error. Why? Because basically we can only add objects of like the integer. This is a string here, so it won't be added. I hope I'm clear to all of you. So here, see what we have done is basically this is a string, and string can't be added with an integer, right? So if we change it here to, for example, let's say 0, 1, right, and then execute this, then it will show 3, right? So these are some examples. So we have declared a is equal to 2, b is equal to 3, and then we print a plus b. So and now we are redeclaring. So basically, initially we declared a is equal to 2, and now we declared again at a is equal to 5. So after this line, the machine will interpret a as a is equal to 5. Till here, यहाँ पे क्या है? Till here, a is equal to 2. But once this line is executed, and now if we add a plus b, we will be getting what? 5 plus 3, that is 8. You getting my point? So in Python, you can declare a variable multiple types, and the value that will take, so basically the recent one. So यहाँ पे सबसे recent declaration क्या है? A is equal to 5 is there, right? So it will take a is equal to 5. यहाँ पे the recent declaration is a is equal to 2. So here it will take a is equal to 2. यहाँ पे a is equal to 10 is the recent declaration. तो यहाँ पे what will take? It will take a is equal to 10. You get my point? Uh, okay. Hello. Any doubts? Okay.
No.
I hope I'm clear. So just in case if you have any doubts, please let me know. Or you can simply switch on your mic and say, or you can type in the chat box. We'll see. So okay. So once you're done with this, these are the basic operations. This is plus, minus, multiplication, and here this is single division, and this is the integer division. And here we have founded modulus of this. So those of you who are familiar with programming must have used these operators, and these are similar in Python too. So let's say 10 divided by 3, you get 3.333. But if you want a nearest integer, you will get 3. If you want what will be the remainder after dividing 10 by 2, it will be 0, right? So I'll just let you go through all this. So let's say a is equal to 10. Sorry, a is equal to 10, b is equal to 3. Pardon, Okay, a is equal to 10, b is equal to 3, and now we want to print a mod b. A divided by b, then it will be 3.3333. It is normal division, right? But let's say now we also want to print a double slash backslash b. So now what will give? It will just give 3. So basically it gives the nearest integer or the greatest integer of this division function. Now let's say if I want to print a modulo b. So what will give? 1. So basically what it gives, it just gives the, all of you who code must be familiar with it, just gives the remainder of what if we divide it by this, and then what will the remainder, it will be the output here. So these arithmetic operations are clear. So we'll soon move to variables. So as I've told you, we can declare variable without letting their types. So if you declare a is equal to Harry, then it will automatically become, let's say I'm writing a is equal to Rajneesh, right? So it will automatically give my name to it, right? So if I run it, so by default, this is a string. I don't have to declare specifically that this is a string. So if you just declare variable, it automatically takes uska type, like whatever the type you give it the value, it will, the variable also gets automatically get that type. So here, and this is the way you can print a formatted string. So a formatted string is like, अब तक हम लोग क्या print कर रहे थे, like till now we were just printing, let's say, uh, just give me a minute. Okay, sorry. Uh, hmm. So till here, what we were printing is like, let's say, singular things. Like just if we were printing, we're just printing string, like Rajneesh, right? Or what we are printing print 3 plus 5. This will give output 8. But what if we want to print something like, let's say, something like this, that the sum of A and B is 8, right? So although, and we want to declare a and b beforehand, like if I declare a is equal to 2 3, or a is equal to 3 and b is equal to 5, and I want to write a statement that the sum of a and b is 8. So how are you going to do this, right? So in this, there is a string too, like till here it's a string and here it is an integer. For that we need formatted strings, right? And how to print formatted strings? So this is the way. Either you can do it by using this add sign. So I'll just show you. uh, we can write print the sum of a and b is, and after I'm done, I'll simply write plus. So basically we are adding two strings, and then we'll write uh, uh, sorry. Right. So okay. Okay. So here what we wanted to print is that we wanted to print two things. The first one is basically a string, and the second one was an integer. So we can do it. So as I told you before, we need formatted strings for that. And so there are two way you can print a formatted string. The first one is by using this add symbol. And if you see, we have used it here also, right? So if you see here, we are just adding two different variables. But as I've told you beforehand too, that you can't add an integer and a string here, right? So if you want to display things by adding, you can simply add two strings. Like if you see here, here a is a string and is my name is also a string. So you can print it by adding, right? So what if you want to print two different type of things like a string and a number. So you have to convert either of them into the other one. So it is impossible to convert this string into a number, right? Because this string can't be into converted into a number, right? But we can convert this number into a string, right? So if that is very much because if you see, like if you have to read anything, so let's say alpha is equal to 8 or whatever, sorry for the yeah. So reading, although mathematically they are different because this is like logically they are different because this is a number, this is a string, but reading wise it hardly matters. If I want something like that, I can, so this is I can put it that in a str thing, like the same way we've done a print function, we can put it in str, and this way the output will be there. So basically what we are doing, we are converting this number into a string. So you can take a note here that to convert a number to a string, one can use str, and in bracket you can put the e, right? So this is done till here, and there is another way you can put the f sign here, and f is basically formatted and declare the variable. So I'll just show you that thing too. So print method. So if you see, the other method, we did not have to change the type of this C. This is here. C is still an what to say? C is still a integer. So the benefit of using a formatted string is you can have multiple data type printed without changing their type. If you have to use add, you have to make sure that all the like inputs here are in the same format, that the same data type, all of them should be either string or all of them should be uh, integer or boolean or whatever it is. So basically if we are using addition, the data type should must be the same, but if you're using formatted string, the data type may differ and you don't have to convert it, you can simply print it. So this is, I hope, clear. Now we'll be moving to binary operations. uh, so till here, anyone, if anyone have any doubts, we can take some doubts. Hello.
Feel free to type in the chat box or just unmute yourself and ask, guys.
Or if many of you, if anyone of you know, you can also add on to something like. Okay, I hope we should proceed. Just in case if you have, you can freely ask. There is no J. So okay, so let's move on to binary operations. So what are binary operations basically? So as you can see, okay, so here you must have heard of the term booleans, right? So there are different data types, and like till here, what we are using either integer or a string. So boolean is a other data type. So boolean is basically, it can take two values. The first one is true, right? Or the other one is false. So many a times while coding, you need different data types, right? For example, if you want to code Facebook, right? And you want to display the name of that person. For that, you need string, right? You need to give the database in a number, like you should to tell that name is a string. Similarly, if you want to display the number of friends a person has or the number of follower a person or has. So that we can do by assigning the person friends a data type of number, because that will also always be an integer. So a person, a positive integer, let's say, because a person will either have 0 or x number of friends, 5, 10, 10,000, 1,000, right? And what if we want to show that the person is online or offline, right? So here what should we use according to you? Should it be a string or should it be a number? You can say, you can unmute and say. Okay, so basically here we can't use string, we can't use number. Then enters boolean. So what is a boolean is basically as the numbers take integer, like here we are using integers and they were taking some numerical values, and similarly strings were taking some sentence wise or words wise values. Similarly, booleans take inputs in just two formats, the first one being true and the second one being false. And it has a wide range of applications in programming. For let's say if you want to show, as I said already, that if you want to say people is online or offline, you don't have to do anything, you just have to insert a boolean. If it is true, then he is online. If it is false, he is offline, right? Similarly, for example, let's say you are purchasing something on Amazon, right? It can be either in stock or out of stock. So there you can insert a boolean that if it is true, then it is in the stock. If it is false, then it is out of stock. So boolean has a wide range of application while coding or while building things. So it is a very important to understand this boolean first. So okay, so here we are just assigned true and false, and this is nothing but basically binary operators. You must have studied in your physics in 12th class. So basically here it is similar like intersection or union. So here if we print B and C. So basically true and false will, what should be the income? So true and false, it gives true, right? But what if I say print B or C? It should be true, right? These are the, this is what we have told in binary uh, operators. After that, enter conditionals. So uh, any doubts you have? You can freely ask, like this is for you guys. So if you have any doubts, you can always ask us. We'll be happy to answer them. Mm. Okay, so let's move on to conditionals. So conditionals are nothing but okay, where are they? So basically, these are, as the name suggests, basically there are two conditions. If this satisfied, it goes into the this line. If not, it will pass away. Right. So if your mother gives you 10 rupees and tells you that if there is lays in the shop, that too of green color, buy it or else leave it. Right. So similarly, if so let's say if you go to the A and if you have see that Lays is there, and then if you purchase it, if not, then you don't. So similarly, let's say if you get an A is in condition, right? A is equal to 11. First one is asking if A is greater than 10, print A is greater than 10. Else if A is less, then print less. Else you can print equal to 10. What it is here, A is equal to 11. So it will come here and it will say that, okay, it is so greater than 10. This satisfies, right? So this statement satisfies. So it will just print this A is greater than 10 and the rest will be not seen by the machine. So I'll just go again. So the conditional statements are very much relative. Like if this one is executed, this can't be because A is greater than 10. So A can't be less than 10. This is a universal fact. If 11, if something is greater than 10, then it can never be less than 10, right? So this will not be executed, neither will this be executed. So the first statement gets printed. Similarly, if we make it 9, so what should be the output? The output here is A is less than 10, right? What if it is make it 10? It will be 8 because neither this satisfies nor this. Only this gets satisfied. So it is written A is equal to 10. Similarly, if we put it A is equal to 115, what will be the output? A is greater than 10. So I hope I'm able to make my point clear. Now come the loops. So basically, loops are basically uh, So let's say there are so many repetitive tasks. You are given to write. Let's say in our school days, we must have got punishment to write, let's say, things 100 times or 1,000 times. If you don't do your homework, if you miss your assignments, something like that. So what we used to do, you should write it multiple times, one by one, one by one, one by one, right? So you don't have to do with the machines. So let's say if someone gives you, your teacher gives you an assignment, a CS teacher, that okay, you have not done your homework, go and print. I will not repeat this again, thousand, let's say 100 times or 10 times, for example. So what you will do, you will just type, I will not do this again. So if I have to, you have to put it 10 times. You will right, this way it will print it 4 times. But what if you have to print it 10 times or something like that? So if you just keep on doing this, you will not be a smart person. So how to be smart? So computers are made to avoid repetitive tasks. So you can do this by forming a loop. As the name suggests, it helps us to deal with repetitive tasks more often. So in Python, you can declare a loop. So firstly, we'll declare a variable. You can do for I in range. Let's say you want to print it 20 times. Right. For I in range. So it is printed 20 times. If it right. So what here is happening is basically uh, I is there, right? So initially it starts, so what it is telling, for I in range 0 to 20, it will start from 0 and it will go till 20. Print this. So firstly, I का value क्या है? 0. It goes here, it prints this. Again it comes, I value becomes 1 because it will increase with every occurrence. So here I is 0, it goes, I value 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can simply see it in this. Okay. So how to print numbers along with a string? So we'll use a formatted string here. Okay. So we'll print I with every occurrence. So here, see, 0 have value I. Hello?
Uh, Hi, Rajesh Kundan here.
Okay,
So, is that the syntax? Is it a syntax where you have written this for I in range? At the end, it's given. Okay, so at the end, is it a semicolon or just a colon?
it's a uh, it's a colon. So
Okay, so in what cases, how do we know like this statement would require a colon? Sorry,
okay.
it would be a silly question, but because
No,
we
no,
did
it's
not see
not
this
not a
colon
silly.
in any other statements, but here
Right, right.
in this statement I'm seeing.
Okay, okay. I'll let you know. So basically, other languages that you might have used, like Python, sorry, C or C++, or like any other languages, they use like they to end any statement, you have to use this semicolons, right? And to start any, yeah, you have to use this curly brackets. So Python is very much an indentation language. So all of this, like when a new line is starting, when is the new function starting, everything is done via indentation. So if you see, I'm not like till here, I'm not printing anything like I'm not giving two commands in one line. In every line, I'm giving singular commands. Like if you see here, right? So that is because this new line does the work of my semicolon. If you compare it with C or C++, similarly, uh, in other languages, when you have to, let's say, when okay, so when there is a nest thing, so basically, if you uh, so okay, I'll just let you know that these B is equal to true and C is equal to false. These two are independent of each other. Am I right? Right? D is equal to true has nothing to do with
Okay,
C is equal to false, right? But what if a first statement is dependent on the other, right? So how will it identify itself? So So if you see here in if else also, so this is very much dependent upon this statement. If this is true, then only this will be executed, right? So here what is there? Dependency is there, that this will only be executed if this gets true. This is not the case with any of the upper used commands or any like lines. But whenever there is dependency, we need to tell it. So in other languages, how we do it, we include that if you have used C or C++, I'm sorry. So what we do is basically we enclose things in double this medium brackets or whatever you call curly bracket. So if I have to write if A greater than B, sorry, I'll use this, and this will know that whatever is there inside this curly brackets, that is very much dependent upon this statement. But since Python is based on indentation, so as the name suggests, we use this semicolon or sorry colon only when we know that the below statement is dependent upon this. I'm sorry. So here we know, or in the earlier case also, we know that uh, this line will only get executed upon if this is condition is true. That is, this is dependent upon this. So whenever there is dependency, we use this colon, and when you put that colon, automatically if you put enter, you will be given a tab space will be left. Like here, the tab is 2 here, so you will automatically get an indentation of 2 tabs, and after that you can use whatever line you will write, and these till the point it is within these tabs. Like यहाँ तक क्या है कि there is a space of 2 spaces. Like basically there is a tab. So so I'll just add another statement here, print random. If you see, 2 things are getting printed. So basically these 2 are dependent upon this statement. And whenever this line will break, and if I come to the previous line, sorry, come to the original margin. So if you see here, there is a space left, right? So जहाँ तक space left होगा, that will be dependent upon the other one. And if I come back to the original margin, that will be an independent statement. Am I clear?
Yeah, so you're saying whenever there is a colon, that means that there will be another statement coming soon, which would be depending upon the above statement. And the decision would be taken based on the statement which is there in, like, for example, here it is for loop.
Yes.
Is that
like,
my understanding? Okay.
Yes. But
And
this,
yeah, sorry, go ahead.
but हाँ मतलब this is the brief that that is.
And if I want to end this piece of programming, I have to just come back to the
original
to the
margin.
beginning, to the original
Yes.
margin. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So this okay.
Rajneesh, why don't you print
Thank you.
why don't you print another a statement just after the for loop? Like print something like we are out of the for loop.
If you see, this will just be printed once. But if I put it here, it will be dependent upon this. Right. So this will be, because it is printed 20 times after this.
Okay. Yeah. Yes. Got it. Thank you, Raj.
Okay, great. Okay. So these are loops. So you can. So as you have we have seen here. Okay. So loops. This range takes basically it starts with 2 arguments. The first one is basically what from where it will start. Like here, if we are given it from 1, it will start from 1 and go till 10. Right. So 11 is not, because 11 is not included in that part. So if you see here also, 20 will not be included. That is just a thing that you have to remember. After that, you can also like if you put the third argument is basically how much the leap it has to take. Initial by default, if you don't give it anything, it takes leap of one number. Like after 1, it adds 1 to itself. But if you put something, it will automatically add this number. So basically, if we put 2 here in the third argument, it will automatically take a leap of 2. Like after 1, 3, 3 plus 5, 7, 5 plus 2, 7, 7 plus 2, 9. And similarly, if you put negative things, it will go backward. So 11, 9, 7, 5, 3. Okay. So then comes the while loop. Uh, uh, so till here, what we are doing that for loop में क्या होता है? In the for loop, so in the for loop, things automatically, it was like after I print I, it automatically got incremented by the value of 1, or here by the value of 2, since I have declared, right? But in the while, so basically, how, so I'll just type the syntax of while loop. So initially you have to declare a variable. Let's say I declare I is equal to 0, and then I tell while I is greater than, while I is less than 10, print I, and I. So here what it is happening that so here what is happening that in while loop, first the thing that you have to declare a variable before using it, and after you declare, it will not get incremented automatically. So here if I tell that run this loop till, so basically what happens is okay, so what happens is like, okay, so till here what was happening that initially it comes with the train value of 0, it goes and then again it get plus 1 and then it start with 1. Since again it will go, it will get plus 1 and its value will be 2 and it will start again, right? But in while loop, it tells that, okay, I will go inside this, but automatically it will not be incremented, right? So here what I'm doing that, okay, I is equal to 0, it goes inside prints 0. Since 0 is less than 10, it will go inside print I, and then I am specifically mentioning this. I am specifically mentioning that I को I plus 1 कर दो, मतलब basically I is equal to, हम I में एक और add कर दे रहे हैं. So whenever it goes, it adds plus 1 to itself. If I don't do this, it will go into an infinite loop. I don't want to show you that right now, because my system might hang and like weird things might happen. So you can try this at your matlab, own PC. Not anything. You can simply close this tab after that. So once you run this without doing this thing, it will go into an infinite loop. Wait, just let me show you. See, it will be a never-ending loop. You have to stop it. You can see this. It will. You can scroll it infinitely. I hope you get my point.
Yes.
Okay, let's not play with it. So in while loop, you have to declare what you want to do with the variable. Similarly, if you see here, it starts with 11 and it is telling I is equal to, matlab, basically he is telling I is equal to I minus 2. Okay. Okay, so now comes the functions. So what are the functions? So as so let's say uh, functions are basically if you want to define a set of instructions which you want to do again and again. Let's say if you if while coding Facebook, when you have to send a friend request to anyone, a set of commands gets executed, but you can't keep it writing everywhere. So for that, what we do, we wrap the whatever the instructions inside a box and name it something like send friend request. And whenever you have to send friend request, just we'll call that box. That box in programming terms is called function. So what is the uh, syntax for defining a function? It goes like def. This is a byte syntax. Then the name of the function. It has to be a let's say singular word or something like that. And in Python, by we use snake case. Basically, if you have to write something like, let's say Rajinish, then we'll write it, or let's say product. We'll write it as Greek, but what you have to add another word into it. I'll not do space or something. I'll simply put an underscore and write 3. And okay, so this way I define a function. A function must take some input. For example, let's say a weighing machine. So, if we see or you must have studied functions in your class 11 and 12, right? So there's fx is there. So if I say that there's a function called fx and it is equal to x squared plus 2x plus c. So what this is a function, right? And I'm giving some inputs into it. And upon that input, it will give me some result by performing some certain set of instructions. Similarly, this is where I'm defining a function. It is taking 3 inputs, x1, x2, x3. And what I'm doing in that function, I'm multiplying them 1 into 2 into 3. So whenever I have to use that function, so what I'm doing, I am basically printing. Sorry, is my annotation visible?
No, I guess not to
No,
me.
it isn't.
Okay, just give me a minute. Hello.
Yes.
Okay, just a minute. So sorry. Okay. So what I was saying is basically, if you see, if you have studied this thing like fx is equal to x squared plus 2, right? So what you do, you put an input here and you get an output by following certain set of instructions. Similarly, if you see, this is f, so basically, and these are the inputs. So here there are 3 inputs, x1, x2, x3, which are defined by num1, num2, num3. And what operations we are doing or what instruction we are following, we are just multiplying them. And here what is doing, we are just doing print f of x1, 2, 3 and 4, right? So what will do, it will go here and take that function. If function kya karega, it will just multiply. So 2 into 3 into 4 is equal to 6 4 is 24. So similarly, as we have studied in mathematics, the same way it is done in the like here also. So you get my point. So similar, and what is the syntax here? As we have used to follow that f rahega, x rahega, and here what it is there is, you have to use this word def, the name of the function, the arguments that it will take, and what it will return in. So here it is returning these 3, the multiplication or the product of these 3 numbers. I hope I'm clear with functions. Okay. If till here you have any doubts, I would highly encourage you to ask some, because that just says, yeah, that shows that you're just paying attention to this. Okay, just in case if you don't have any, from here on, Harsh will continue and he will teach you arrays and basics of NumPy. So Harsh can take over.
Yes, sure. So I guess my screen visible?
It is visual. There is some mic issue, I guess, Harsh.
Hello.
Yes, it is visible and audible as well.
So yeah, so I will continue with arrays. So first of all, let me ask you one thing, like how many of you actually know programming, like even one language? So this will like help me set my pace for you guys, because like I guess some of you might know these. Like you can raise your hands if you know any language, you can raise your hand. So I guess three people, 4, 5, can see some hands. So like most of them know. So they are freshers as well. So I will keep that in mind, and I will like move with a slow pace as usual. So let's first start with what are arrays. So like there is a data type. So there's a container. This is a container. You need to store something. So you might need to store your variables. Currently we are storing variables inside a single variable. Say a is equals to 2 or b is equals to 3. But what if we have to store large number of these integers somewhere? So for that we will use a list, or you will use an array. Array is self-explanatory word. सो दीज आर लाइक कंटेनर्स. उसके अंदर हम लोग एक तरह के डेटा टाइप रखते हैं. लाइक इफ आई हैव टू स्टोर स्ट्रिंग, देन आई विल ओनली स्टोर स्ट्रिंग इन इट. इफ आई हैव टू स्टोर integer, I will only store integer here. So I can see, like if you can see, we are only storing integer here. 1, 5, 3, 4, 6, 2, or everyone is an integer. For declaring an array, it's very simple. You just need to like name anything. So I can actually say this is array1, or like my new array. I can say anything. I can give it a name. So like simplicity, I like to call it ARR, and just put these brackets. I don't know what these are called. I guess big brackets, and just separate your data with commas. So I can do this. So if I do print this now, so if I say print array, it will give me. Am I audible currently?
Yes, you are.
Is there some network issues? I guess I'm. हाँ, देखो आ गया. So like if you see, like I got this array printed in this exact order. So for storing these data types at a place so that we can use it further, you can use it anytime. We can retrieve it, update it, insert in it. For that purposes, we use these containers called data structures, and array is one of those. Array is also a linear data structure. So if you see the type of array, so it will like give me a list. So arrays are in Python, arrays are called list. In other programming language, most of the programming language, it is called array. See, if I have to like say, if I have to get an element. So say like someone said, like get the first element. Like I want to know what is the first element in my array. So I will use array and these brackets, big brackets, and the index name. So what are index first? Let me also define what are index. So index are the position of these numbers, these values stored. So which starts with 0, then the second one is 1, then third one is 2, and so on. ऐसे ही चलता है. Like zero, the main point is the main point that we need to note is that it starts from 0 and it goes on to the length of array -1. So if I have to like call for first element, the first element will be 0th element. The second element will be called first element. Stuff like that. So if I have to like if I have to get an element which is at the first position, so I will use the index 0 here. So if I like run this, I will get 1 here, which is exactly 2. So if I have to say array 2 and array -1, so let's forget array -1. So if I have to say array 2, So it will give me 1, and this is 0 at the 0th position. This is at the first index. So this is at the second index. This is at the second index. So I'm calling array 2. So what if I have to like get the, so someone asked me like get the first element from the back itself. So if I like know in Python we can use we can easily use -1 to get the last element. So this is -1, -2, -3, -4, and so on. So if I have to get the last element from it, I will use array -1, which will give me 6. Right. So I guess there is no doubt in it. Do you have any?
Also, Harsh, please tell them that hello,
Mm-hmm.
audible.
Yes,
So
yes.
this technically this is not array, right? The list.
It's like, yeah, matlab, theek hai. This is technically a list. Those who know what the difference between array and a list, and an array
Just
is
tell them in Python it is not called array. So just let them know this part.
in Python it is not called an array. It is actually a list. So like for C++, what a vector is in C++, or what a list is in C++, a dynamic array, that is list in Python. So yeah, so I guess it's all clear till here. So I will move forward with the next topic called slicing. So this is quite new for like guys who know C++ as well. So slicing क्या करता है कि it, as the name says, slices the array. So if I have to get a sub array, like say I have to get an array from which consists of 0th element and first element only, I will use array, then big brackets, the 0th element, I will include this element, then this colon, and then the element up to which I have to slice. So I have to slice till the 2th index. So this is the 0th index, this is the first index, this is the second index. So if I want 1 and 2 elements, so I will go till 3. Last element is not counted. So if I run this, it will give me 1 and 2. So if I have to go like till 4, it would give me around 4, yes, 0, 1, 2, 3, and this 5 is 4. So 5 is not included in it. So this is pretty handy. We can easily use use them in various purposes. So if I have to like say array zeros to add them both, so I guess they will get added easily. Like this is called concatenation, I guess. So this is very handy in Python. So this is called slicing. So I will like repeat again. What array does is it will take two parameters. The first is the start, second is the end plus 1, and both are separated by a colon. So this is the like format of slicing. So if it's clear, I will like to move forward. So like so you might have heard about sorting. Like if say I have an array like which is much or less like this, and it's somewhere like 4 is which is not in ascending order or descending order, which is not in a actually formatted order. So if I have to like get this in ascending order, I will use a method called Python like print sorted array. This will give me an array which will be sorted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? Quite simple. Like, and if I have to get a reverse of this array, I will use this indexing as well. So like if I have to get a reverse of an array, I will use array. I will separate these with 2 colons. The first one is starting. The second one is the last, which will be length of array -1. So length of array, yes, length of array, and then I will like move backwards. This will be -1. So you need not know to learn this. So yeah, so like remember this, for printing it in like descending order, what you use is array -1. Simple. This will give you this one. like let me tell you about length of an array. So how do you know how many elements are there in my this array list? So for this we use a built-in function called len. So if I say a is equals to len of array, and then I will print a, it will give me, sorry, I have to uncomment this first. So it will give me 6. Yeah, currently there are 6 elements in my array, so it is giving me 6. So this is used to get the length of the array. So if I have to run this again, so what if I have to iterate over this array? So I say I have to print all the elements that are present in the array. For this I will simply use a for loop for I in range 0 से start करते हैं. From the 0th index we will go to the length of array. Why length of array? Because ये 0th element होगा, ये first होगा, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth नहीं होगा, sixth include नहीं होगा. So इसलिए length of array तक चलते हैं. So this is not colon separated, this is comma separated, and then colon. It will then I'm inside this for loop. I'm nested in this. Then I will simply use print array का ith index. Since I is equals to I का अगर इक्वेशन देखोगे तो I will be in this order. पहले I होगा 0, फिर एक बार लूप के अंदर जाएगा, this will become 1, I becomes 1, फिर ये प्रिंट करेगा array 1 को, फिर ये अपडेट करेगा, फिर array I का वैल्यू 2 हो जाएगा, फिर I का वैल्यू 3 हो जाएगा, and so on. So if I in this, it will give me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? So yeah, यहाँ तक I have told you about arrays. किसी को arrays में कोई दिक्कत, please let me know. Anyone? किसी को कोई दिक्कत arrays में? नहीं तो we will start with NumPy. So do we have time for NumPy right now? Rajneesh, can you confirm this? Or should we start with machine learning itself? This is also quite big. Hello? Am I audible? Hello?
Yes, you are.
Rajneesh, can you confirm this? Do we have time for NumPy? अच्छा कोई नहीं, start. कोई answer नहीं आया तो. So for so what is NumPy? NumPy is actually a library. So there are many developers out there. So उन्होंने हमारे लिए they have made a some functions, pre-built functions, which will help us in doing some certain task. और वो काफी optimized होता है. They have used different algorithms for making this very fast. So actually क्या होता है कि if you see Python is a very slow language in comparison with C++. So mathematical operations take much time, but in order to compensate for that, there's this library called NumPy which uses C++ in its backend. Back में C++ चलता है और वहाँ पे they calculate those stuffs which is pretty fast in comparison to Python, and that is why we use those in machine learning. So NumPy is nothing but a library which gives us fast calculation of vectors and fast calculation of mathematical operations. So agar if you have seen if you have read about matrices and determinants, so अगर 11th class 12th class में तुम लोग ने अच्छे से पढ़ा था तो हम लोग matrices का use करते हैं for multiplication, dot product, cross product. There are many transpose and other stuffs. So उसका use होता है machine learning में. For doing that in very fast rate, हम लोग NumPy use करते हैं. NumPy is a library. So for anything, for using anything which is beyond the scope of Python itself, you have to import the library. So you must have imported header files in C and C++. So for importing this, we have to we have to write this import NumPy as NP. So I guess I will copy it and write it. Just have to write this stuff. So import NumPy as NP, and now I will declare an array ARR variable with zeros. So I will make a list of 10 zeros. So if I like print the array now, see, like I have 10 zeros with me inside a list, inside an array. So how I did this? I will use np, which means I'm calling numpy library, np dot zeros, which is inbuilt function. Then I will just pass a value, say I need 10 zeros, 10 columns, or say 10 like zeros, and then just enter. Like it will give me 10 of these, and like 10 of these like zeros inside a list, inside an array. So if I see the type of these, so these are float. These are not actually integers. These are float values. If you can see, there are decimals there. So these are decimal values with base 64. And this is not like classic Python. This is, if you can see the type, it is numpy.float 64. This is not normal 60, normal like your integer or float. So like there are other things as well. So if I have to like calculate the shape of it, shape means the row number and column number. So like I will treat this as a single matrix, a matrix with a single row and 10 columns. So if I have to like get the shape out of it, so I will use array.shape, which will give me 10 comma empty. Empty means 1. So the shape of this is 10 into 1. So like, sorry, 1 into 10. Rows, there's a rows 8 and columns are 10. So it is in this order, column and rows. So if I have to like change the shape of it, say if I want कि array.shape, मुझे ऐसे चाहिए, vertical order में चाहिए, मुझे 10 rows चाहिए and column 8 चाहिए. So what I will do is कि array.shape is equals to 10 comma 1. So I will use array.shape is equals to 10 comma 1. 10 comma 1. And if I print array now, I will get 10 rows with 1 column, each as 0. And these are not integer, these are float values. So there are other like methods as well. There are other functions as well that we can use. So like if you want thing like if you want to like populate a list with values starting from 2 to 10 with 5 elements in it. So if you want something like that, then we can use linspace. So linspace does what does it do? Like np dot linspace, we take a value like starting point, starting से like हमको चाहिए 10 से start करते हैं, I want like 100 तक जाते हैं, and I need like around 10 values from it. So if I like run it now, okay, sorry, lin space, or there was typo. So I guess print करना होगा, मैंने print नहीं किया, I have to print it as well. So if I print it now, so it will give me 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 like equidistant points. Like I have to get 10 equidistant points in difference of these. So I will use a linspace thing, linspace, np.linspace. So like I will copy paste this as well. So I guess linspace is like clear to all of you. Like is there any doubt? Like इसके around किसी को कोई doubt numpy में अभी तक? Like जो पहली बार.
Hi, Kundan here again. So you said that NumPy is a library, right?
Yeah, right.
तो इस library में कौन-कौन से functions हैं वो कैसे पता चलेगा?
So yeah,
like you have used shape, you have used line space and all, right? So how do we know like what all other functions does it has?
Yeah, I completely agree with you कि मुझे भी सब नहीं पता है. होता क्या है कि like when you actually work, when you need to actually work, you just type in Google कि I have to do this in NumPy and it will give you a result कि you need to do this for like having this. So I have to say like get like say Google करता हूँ get how to get NumPy get zeros. So like it will tell me like how to create a function with zeros, like numpy.0, if you can see. तो ऐसे ही हम लोग यूज करते हैं. If not this, like this is not the actually for correct way. So अगर तुम like इसका अल्टरनेटिव जानना चाहते हो तो इसका अल्टरनेटिव ऐसे होगा कि if I use array is equals to np space and then I will like wait array dot array dot and so I will use np dot control and space. So it will give me like all of these functions that I can use. I can read about it from like the official documentation from this, or I can also use one like thing. I have to check it. Say I have to use np dot save. Is it working? देखो for getting a doc string, like I have to like I want to know कि np.save क्या करता है. I will use this question mark beforehand and it will like give me a help. Says np.save will take an value a and returns the shape of an array. Like I can get this, I can get examples from it from the official documentation itself, or like there are official documentations of Python and NumPy present in like Google. You can have a read every time, so you need not know every function. जैसे काम पड़ता है वैसे हम लोग गूगल करते हैं, like पता चल जाता है. That's it. Like this is how we do it. I don't know. And you can also use docstring and other stuff. So like I'm clear with this. So this was like much more of practical. It's a practical solution.
Yeah, I just wanted to see like. So I just wanted to see like what all other functions are there. So like you said, if we simply write np dot, it will give all the kind of a function it holds, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, that's what was my question. Thank you so much.
So like so I guess यहाँ तक clear था, linspace तक clear था कि linspace does what? It will take a starting point, it will take an ending point, and it will take like how many values you want, and it will give me an equidistant point from both of these. Like equally बांट के उसको देंगे, like 10 and 100 में 10 points होंगे, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, and it also takes this into account as well, 100 as well. So this is what linspace does. So let's move to another topic. So like np.array. अब मैंने तुम्हें बताया कि इसको मतलब मैंने तुम्हें like डायनेमिकली बताया कि हमें array डिक्लेयर कैसे करना है, कि कि जैसे जीरो से डिक्लेयर कैसे करना है, जैसे और भी जीरोस के बदले होते हैं, वंस भी होते हैं. सो वन से डिक्लेयर कैसे करना है. So there are stuffs like these. तो मैंने उसे से बताया, like अगर there is a predefined array and you want to like change it to a numpy array. So I said you कि numpy array is different from normal array because its implementation is in C++ language and it is quite fast. So अगर तुमको उसमें change करना है तो how will you do it? So it's very simple. What you will do is you will make an dummy array a list, and you have like array 10, 20, 21, 25. I don't know what I'm typing. So and then you will use np dot array itself, and then I will use this variable a list. So it will reference a list. What is a list? Like it will reference this, and its value is like this array. So it will take np.array and it will take a list and it will change this list into an array of numpy. So if you say, if I do print z now, so it will pretty much give me an array, and if I see like a type of this, it will give me a numpy array. And if I have to print a type of a list, type of a list, you can see it will not give me a numpy thing, it will give me a class list. So this is a class list and this is a numpy.nd array. Matlab, you forget about class for now. So this is a list and this is a numpy array. So you can see the difference here. This is quite fast, this is not. So I guess like we are okay with this as well. So then again we have used shape. So if you say shape, so I guess it's 4, 1. Matlab there are one rows and 4 columns, I guess, right? And then this is one interesting thing. So yeah, what happens is kabhi na we want random values. So how do we get random values? So we use a built-in function of array, numpy array. So we use this random.randint, and it will give us random values. So it will give us around 10 random values it will give me 6 random values, and it will take a random like something 10 or 12 to randomize things. So it takes an input. So and no, I guess wait, it does not take an input. What if I take a 15? Acha, this take a high value. So like kitna ka tumko high, like highest value, what do you want the highest value? Say if I want the highest value is 15 and size is equal to 6, I want these 6 elements at random. So I will get these elements, like everyone is like lower than 15, and the size of this array is 6, right? So I get it's quite fun. Like sometimes we have to use random things in machine learning models. So for this, so this is like another interesting thing. So what do you think? Of something when you first hear a photograph, like image? So image like तुमको कुछ graphical दिखता होगा, like something which you can see and interpret. But in mathematics, photos are nothing but just a lie. What I mean by that is कि photos are nothing but these are just numerical values of pixels. So if I have to import a photo first. So like I will go and import a photo from here. So you can import a photo of your own. I have imported this on my own and use this as I will use another library called skimage, and I will import IO from it, which will help us work with images. So like the Python does not support images on its own, like so we have to use another library called skimage. We imported this library from skimage, import IO. I will also write this. Right, and then I have to like tell the like my notebook ki, like I want this photo, like this specific photo. So for this I will use the relative path of this thing. Like this is my photo. I will use a copy path thing, and I will just paste it inside this to like apostrophe, like क्या बोलते हैं उसको, apostrophe बोलते हैं ना. So apostrophe के अंदर like I will paste it. So this will like give us a photo. So photos के जो photo variable है, this photo variable has the value of a photo. So if I print this now photo, so it is nothing but an array. As you can see, it is nothing but an array of pixels. Right, there are like quite many values which are actually not seen here. So there are like quite a lot of values, and if I have to say like print shape of photo and like print it to.shape. So this is like this has like 3,465 columns and 2,131 rows. रोज पहले था कि कॉलम्स पहले था? Columns पहले था, sorry. 2,131 columns, 3,465 rows, and with 3 like z axis पे 3 है. Like this is a 3D like एक तरीके से 3D वेक्टर है, 3D array है. इसमें सिर्फ मतलब क्या बोलो 3D मैट्रिक्स है, सॉरी. So like इसमें x axis भी, y axis भी and z axis भी है. So z axis पे like why is it so low? तो ये कलर के लिए यूज होता है एक्चुअल में. कलर के लिए इसका ये होता है लेंथ. So ये होता है लेंथ, ये होता है ब्रेथ, एंड दिस इज यूज फॉर कलर. सो कलर हम लोग के पास 3 ही होते हैं, RGB, रेड, ग्रीन एंड ब्लैक. सो उसका लाइक बताता है 0, 1 and 1 लाइक ऐसे कुछ करके. सो इफ यू हैव सीन द RGB कोड, इट्स अराउंड 0 to 255 आई गेस. तो वही बताता है उसका वैल्यू फॉर कलरिंग एंड स्टफ. So yeah, this is what photo is. And now I have to I want to show a photograph here. I want to plot a photo. So for plotting things, we need to use another library called matplotlib. I will import pyplot as PLT. I'll also copy this. Here I will paste this here. This is used for graph and stuff. Like if sometimes in machine learning you have to see, you have to visualize things. Okay, how is my data looking? I have to like get a bar graph or histogram. So how will you how are you gonna do this? So उसके लिए, so you use this library called matplotlib and like import pyplot as plt from it and just use plt dot so so plt dot im so and then photo variable. So it will like plot you this cool like image. So this was my image, right? So this was actually my image, and it is like giving me these axes, like it is properly plotting it as a graph. So most of the time they plot it as a graph. So we have done quite a few operations on these. Like I have reversed these, like I have used reverse operator. I've reversed the column and rows. So if you see, this will become left right interchange. So like let's do it. I've used photo. So since photo is nothing but a matrix, which is arrays of array, like 3D array. So I will use this a colon, and then separated by some colons I will use -1, and then I will leave it here. So when I leave it here, so it will give me something like bracket. So it will give me an photo of left to right interchange. So you need not worry about this. मैंने इसको ऐसे ही डाला था क्योंकि cool लग रहा था. और फिर like images को crop करना है, वही हम slicing and ये use किए हैं, but this is in like 3D matrix. Or like in NumPy you can also use various operators like sign of an array, cos on the whole array. You can use sum, product, mean, standard deviation, variance, minimum, maximum, arg minimum, arg maximum. So arg minimum, arg maximum gives the index of maximum, index of minimum. So wherever your maximum is, so it will give you the index of those maximum values. It will give you the index of those minimum values. Sorry, max over min over. Sorry. So this is what it is. So I'm not gonna go quite depth in it because I think we are losing much time. So let's start with like ML if we have time. Like Rajneesh, can we proceed? I guess like it was clear from my side. NumPy में किसी को कुछ doubt like please do ask.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Okay, so before we start, we'll just like you to hear from you that are you comfortable or will you be available for let's say 20 more minutes or 20 to 25? Because if not, we can do it tomorrow.
Like इसमें अच्छा से चाहिए, इसमें linear regression we are going depth for it. So if you are comfortable right now, you can choose. Otherwise, we can continue this tomorrow as well.
So let us. You can simply raise your hands if you want to delay it. You can do this. Okay, we should. Okay, anyone else? So you guys want to have it right now? Please respond. If not, like then there is no, because that is the purpose, right? That we want you to learn it better.
Tomorrow, please. So yeah.
Okay, great. So we will continue tomorrow. Okay, guys. So if any other doubts you have, you may ask.
Like Rajneesh, can we like show the PPT we had made like once, like go through what are we going to like discuss tomorrow? If like you have 4 more minutes, I guess.
Yeah. Okay, since majority of you are seeing tomorrow, okay, I'll just share the PPT. So I'll just let you in 2 minutes. I'll just simply skim through it. That's what we are going to present. Okay, so basically tomorrow we'll be just getting to know that what is machine learning, some terminology related to this, what are its applications, and some real life examples of TA. So these are the we're letting you know how an ML model works and all these basic things. So basically we will be teaching you all of this, that what is a linear regression, how to just how to predict things with ML model, how to build an ML model, how to train it, how to test it, all of these things, and some basic terminology related to that, what are its applications, and also briefly about us, as some of you must be knowing us, some of you might not. So okay, so we are an edtech startup aiming at helping college students to explore uh, various career fields. We have an app which most of you must be using. In that, you can explore your various modules and get your college notes. You get awesome blogs. I would highly recommend you to go through the blogs that we have. We publish twice weekly, and also some content. We have a Discord. If you want to ask any doubts or anything you want to learn, please hop into that. Not only just tech, anything, product or business or consultancy, anything that you would like. We have all of that. We have some really awesome people in the community from various reputed organizations and colleges. So you can check out that too. And with this, I would like to conclude. And if you don't have anything else to say, we can end the meeting.
Today's PPT, where did we get?
Okay, so since today the PPT is not actually you have delivered it, so we will be sharing it tomorrow when we deliver it and we tell you about it. By then, we can share this Python notebook with you.
And the sessions will be recorded as well, so you can always refer to it.
Yes. Uh,
Not only this, you can. I would like to like say कि तुम लोग खुद से explore करो like different Python like programs ना, and if there's any doubt, do ask us in like WhatsApp or like Discord server. There's Discord dedicated Discord server for this. So like do ask your doubts. Like practice makes up man and woman perfect. Yes. So like thanks for having me.
Thank you all for joining, guys. We'll officially conclude. Post that, you all can stay if you want to talk, or we can call it a meet.
yes.